Hey guys, Civilord here, back in with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Page Punchers Martian Manhunter from, I want to say Justice League, but don't quote me on that. That said, what you can quote me on is that this is brought to us by the fine folks over at DC Direct and or McFarlane Toys. Pick your poison there, because once again, we have another figure with absolutely no accessories whatsoever, at least not the useful kind. So why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look, see at all he does have. Starting off with the collectible trading card, which thankfully calls him John Johns on the back, not Ma Alafaha or whatever that evil Martian Manhunter's name is. Which, never that. Why don't we have a figure of that guy? Like, he's cool. He was in Young Justice. I'd be down for that. He was also in that one Justice League movie that was pretty dank, where Batman had a contingency plan to whoop everyone's butt. That said, we do have a comic. If I'm not mistaken, this is the lead up to Fighting Doomsday, so that's kind of a significant comic, but if it ain't the right comic, well, I showed the right comic yesterday, so give me a break. I can only do what my eyes allow me to do. And if it's screw up, then you know what? We're going to screw up. Got the Hockey Puck display stand releasing all McFarlane Toys releases, and the little teeny tiny Martian Manhunter, who's still kind of short. Still kind of short. I've seen people mod the ankles, give them bigger ones. I'm guessing they're using like Hush Batman or something to really give him some height, but I don't know. I always go back to what I said when I reviewed the other Martian Manhunters. If you have the Mattel stuff, this guy's probably perfectly in scale, because he would be taller than them. But I like the fact that he kind of looks like the Superpowers figure. What I don't like is that he doesn't have a wire in the cape and he costs $30. I mean, a cloth cape is better than plastic because it takes up less room, but there's so little dynamism in this cape. What are you going to do with it, man? But at any rate, and they put a wired cape on his body before. We've seen the Spectre, so I don't know what's up with that. But as far as articulation on this guy goes, can't really look up, but you can look down a little bit. You can tilt side to side, that's all fine and dandy. Can rotate. Shoulders will kick up, back down, rotate all around. He's got the beautiful butterfly, bicep swivel, double elbow, ball hinge wrist so you can rotate, hinge, and swivel. Torso's pretty locked in. Ooh, so is that shoulder apparently. Torso's pretty locked in, but you do have the diaphragm joint and the ball jointed waist. But because of these straps here, you're not going to get a lot out of it. And the straps aren't glued down, it's just really tight down here. So I kind of appreciate that they keep it from being loose. Now, of course, if you heated this up, you might be able to get a little bit more out of that. Like I said, I don't think these are hooked into anything. It does not feel like they are. So, if you heated this up, you'd probably get a little bit more range out of it. Hips don't want to kick up very high. But if you kick them forward, you can kick them out a little more. And that goes for both sides on mine. So, very stiff. Probably just the thigh hitting the waist or something. He does have a decent amount of thigh cut. Double jointed knee is fine. Does look a bit chunky there with that knee spike, but speaking of Doomsday, he does have a ball hinge ankle that'll rotate, hinge, and pivot with toe joint. And that's your lot for old Jean Jeans here. Again, he's not bad, but he could have been better. And I would think you'd want to go out on a high note on the last year you have the license, but you know, Mattel really didn't. I mean, sure, they had that Killer Croc Collect and Connect wave, but even that was half-arsed in some regard, because Killer Croc seemed kind of flat, didn't he? Either way. That is the Martian Manhunter in a nutshell, because there's literally nothing else to talk about. So, with that being said, why don't we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's good old Jean Jeans, aka the Martian Manhunter, alongside his red platinum variant, Bloodwind. And the reason that is, we'll talk about that in Bloodwind's video coming up in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. Hey, I gotta keep you on your toes sometimes, but they're not even on the same body, but I do kind of wish Martian Manhunter was on the same body as Bloodwind, even if it does have some costume textures, just because it's a little taller, and I like the anatomy more, but it is what it is, I'm afraid. And then we also have the other Page Puncher figure available in this wave that's not a red platinum chase. We have Tim Drake, aka Robin, who we looked at yesterday, so check that review out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. But yeah, Martian Manhunter short. We know the jokes. Let's just move on. They ain't gonna fix it. No, they ain't gonna fix it ever. And we bring in our two regulars. Mythic Legion's brother Mandibilith, and the infamous 11 Spawn, who obviously gonna be towering over everyone because Martian Manhunter's just a little teeny guy. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and much like Tim Drake from yesterday, despite the fact that good old Martian Manhunter here has absolutely no accessories to offer, I would say he is the best one we've gotten from the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys thus far, but he also doesn't have a wired cape, and for 30 bucks, that just sucks. For 30 bucks, that just sucks. Look at that, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. But you know what I mean. If you're gonna charge almost 30 bucks for something, put something in the box. Or at least give him two fist hands. I mean, would it be too hard to ask for a second fist hand? Just mirror the left one, and bada bing bada boom, you're done. Thankfully the Platinums don't have this problem, but it irks me when toy companies give you grip hands and nothing to put in it, or if they give you grip hands and they don't make sense for the figures they come with. And Martian Manhunter, I feel like, is one of those situations. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.